What's up, cultivators? It's your girl Jasmine J reporting live here at the Closing the Wealth Gap, presented by Black EXP Network. What's up, Morgan? How you doing?
What's up? I'm so excited to be here to be able to interview with you for the first time.
Yes.
So this is really cool. Yeah.
So who are we gonna be talking to today?
So today we have the privilege of being able to talk to some event organizers. We're also going to be talking to some of our attendees, and I think it's going to be amazing to just and some of our panelists as well. Our panelists, event organizers, and attendees. It's going to be great.
I'm definitely excited about talking to some of the panelists. I did research on them and all the things that they have done and have been able to accomplish and how they are closing the wealth gap. And so I can't wait to learn more.
Yeah.
So, speaking of the whole topic for today, closing the wealth gap, how important do you think that is, Morg?
Man, I think closing the wealth gap is exceptional because I think we first have to ask the biggest question of like, what gap is there? Like, what are the gaps so we can actually close them? And I think when you think about what Black EXP is doing is they're speaking about what are the gaps in the black economy and the black ecosystem. So I think it's going to be really cool to just figure out what are our gaps and how do we close them.
Definitely. So hey y'all, like she said, we'll be speaking to the attendees, some of the speakers and the organizers of this great event. So stay tuned.
See you soon. Hey everyone, this is Morgan and I am here with Miss Candace, who is the owner of Expensive Taste Catering. I wanted to start off with just asking a preliminary question.
Okay.
My first question is, what is one of the financial barriers and or gaps that you've experienced when it comes to starting a catering business?
Okay. Personally, I think that the gap that most of the colored or brown people experience would be the real estate, the loans, the means to be able to purchase real estate or even lease real estate, to have the equipment, the kitchens and things necessary. A lot of people have a home-based business and they can't grow from there because of the market in the industry, and then having credit barriers, things of that nature that, you know, kind of deteriorate those from growing their business.
So what do you feel like your business means to you, and like what types of gaps are you looking to close with Expensive Taste Catering?
Well, I've been in business. This is year 15 for me.
Wow.
So growing the business, we also have Mix and Perfect Events, which is our luxury bar service. It's adding on and building a branch that can create generational wealth, you know, to be able to pass on, so that even, like I say, myself, younger generations, they can come in and continue to grow in the field.
Yeah, so you say you've been in this for 15 years. What is like one thing that you feel like you're putting in place that will keep this business around more than 15 years?
Putting people in place, like other chefs, other bakers, other people who are close-knit in the industry that I'm in, and then allowing them. I teach a class also too called We All Can Eat. So I definitely share the knowledge of, you know, my trials and tribulations, so the younger generation won't have to, you know, go through that, or they can apply better skills from what I've experienced in the past.
I love that, because I feel like even with what you said, that's in a sense that is closing that wealth gap, because you're sharing knowledge. And that's kind of like one of my second questions, which was like, how did you plan to help apply that knowledge that you know to others so that you can, you know, close that wealth gap? So with your class, what are the things that you're doing in your business that helps them to be able to continue to bring this, the values of your business, like for years and years to come?
So what I do is I also I allow other chefs to come and work with me. I go and I'll explore options with them as well. If they're doing events, I'll go and I'll kind of guide them and see where they can, you know, have better intake, or, you know, just people skills, customer service, presentation, especially that, because people do eat with their eyes, and then also too, punctuation, being on time, uniforms, just all of that, you know. And then if I'm exceeded in with all of my events, I pass them on. I don't just tell the client, you know, no, we're booked. I try to lend that extension over to another chef or another baker to say, hey, can you take on this event here, versus just closing the door and then the client misses out, and also too somebody else who could have that opportunity misses out.
Wow. And so my last question is, do you have experience with acquiring real estate as far as the getting the commercial kitchen, being in a space?
So I've dealt with that twice. Beforehand, and then COVID took us out. We had to go back home, and then now looking into more real estate. The building I live in actually has a real estate property. They have 2 properties that we're interested in. So yeah, just kind of getting with the right realtor, the right commercial realtor that's going to look out for us financially in the long run, so that we can have that longevity and not just be a one-hit, show when it comes to food, because the restaurant industry, the food industry has a really high turnover.
Yeah.
But we want to create that longevity and then have satisfied clients. So we want to find the right property, we want to find the right kitchen, we want to find the right equipment and all that. So with that, it takes sometimes equity, it takes loans, it takes things like that. So having the right person that really cares about my growth versus just trying to make a sale on some property, that's what I'm looking for.
I love that, and I feel like it's easy to find that person here today. Really being able to see which type of realtor has that grit and the understanding of the industry. And so I thank you so much for coming to sit down with us and interview us.
Okay.
For sure. We are here with one of the EXP network organizers and attendees. She's on one of the boards. Can you explain to us a little bit more about what you do with EXP?
So I'm not part of EXP, but I'm part of the Greater West Houston, the Women's Council, and Miss Rachel Allen, who is part of EXP, invited me. So of course I'm a support, because I love supporting each other. But yes, I'm part of more of the Women's Council. We both sit on that board together.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you for the clarification. What is one of the things that you're looking to get out of this event, especially with this being about closing the wealth gap, like financial challenges that people face? Like, what is something that you're looking to gain from this event today?
So what I want to gain is the knowledge for me to help my buyers or sellers to figure out a way to bridge that gap, right? Yeah. So either I'm learning about how we're going to get them assistant, home buyers assistant, first time home buyers assistant, any kind of an assistant that could help them to get them from being a renter to a homeowner. So that's always been my thing of, we rent all our lives, but why not own a part of the American dream?
Seriously.
So definitely knowledge is power. And when you're able to have the knowledge and you're able to share that knowledge to help somebody else, that's even more impactful.
Yeah, so that leads me to my next question. What resources or connections and even like some support do you feel is missing right now in the fight for that economic empowerment, especially as you speak about that acquiring American land? Like, what do you think is that gap?
So I'm thinking part of the gap is that knowledge. A lot of people are not aware of even simple their credit score. What can they afford? What is their buying power, right? So then they even have grandma land and don't realize that, hey, let me keep grandma land, let me renovate grandma land, let me live on grandma property. I'm working with an investor and they want to acquire certain land, and it's like they don't want to give it up because it's grandma land, but they're not living on it. So why not help bridge that gap by, if you don't want to give up grandma property, at least renovate it, make sure you're getting some kind of income from it by renting it out, or, but keep that going, if you want to keep it in the family, but do something with it, right? And just knowing that there's always resources out there. If you don't know, then you won't know how to pivot and work. So you have to kind of get involved with your community, get involved by networking, going on the internet, simple as that, and kind of learn something and said, hey, this is what I want to do. Let me figure out how can I get there. But you can't just sit back and think it's going to happen. You have to get out there and see what's available and partner up with people like realtors and just coming to seminars like these would definitely, because this seminar was open up for everyone. So just,
I love that. So as my last question, how do you feel like you are going to be a part of that? Because I hear so much in your conversation that you're a change agent. So if you're all about change and impact, how do you feel you're going to take this knowledge back into your community, build up your people? Like, what is that one thing that you would do from this day?
So thank you for asking that. So my one thing is to reach more by being advocate, by doing more videos. doing. I said I want to start a vlog, so I think you
Yay!
just confirmed what I need to be doing. But getting that information out, because it makes no sense if I come to this awesome seminar
And you
today,
keep
all this
yeah.
information and don't let it out.
Yeah.
And for me, I can't door knock everybody, but I could make a video, send it out to everyone, and get that conversation going. It doesn't start and stop today. We have to get all this information and we have to send it out so people could hear it and kind of get them involved so we could get that gap closed.
Closed, for sure.
So,
I love
definitely.
that. Well, in light of you getting your vlog started, how can people get connected with you to find out more about you, what you have going on?
So I have I Am Your Realtor on Instagram. You can definitely check me out. My name is Salita Patterson, so you can look me up on Facebook. And I do have my YouTube, but I only have one video.
It's coming, y'all. It's
It's
coming.
coming. I'm working on it. But I feel like you just kind of tapped my shoulder like, hey, you need to move. Get it done.
Girl.
So definitely I'll be working on that. So, but look me up.
Yay. So I feel like this has been a great conversation. Thank you, Salita, for sitting with us.
Thank you.
We're excited to see you flourish and bring us some YouTube videos of closing the wealth gap.
You know what? So my blog gonna be Let's Talk, because it's part of my name. So you just look at.
I got you, girl. I got you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, y'all. We're here with another interview with Miss Jermisha Goodo. How you doing today?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Jasmine?
Pretty good, pretty good. So I have a few questions for you.
Okay.
As the co-founder of Braden Real Estate Group, a Black-owned firm making major strides in Houston, congratulations. What unique challenges have you faced in the real estate industry, and how have you navigated them to achieve success?
I think one of the biggest challenges we face in the real estate industry is really the lack of capital.
Yeah.
So as far from a visionary perspective, like Nicole, my partner and I, we've been in the real estate industry over 12 years each. We have all these ideas. We see the challenges, we see the struggles.
Yes.
But the lack of capital in order to launch and to really grow and scale our business has really been a strategy from the brokerage side.
Yes.
We have unique issues when it comes to the individual real estate practitioner or the individual realtor, but when it comes to the real estate broker side, trying to scale and build your business without capital, it's difficult. It's hard. Okay?
Definitely.
It's hard.
So the topic today is talking about closing that wealth gap. So why do you feel like these type of conversations are so important?
I think a big part is education.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't know what to do. Like, if we could go back to 5 years ago when we started Braden Real Estate Group, I would tell everyone to get your stuff in order. Get your finances together. Focus on your financial health. What does your credit look like?
Yeah.
What is your goal, your savings goal, knowing what you need to do. So I understand in the beginning when you're starting a business, your money might be funny.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's true. But at least knowing what are my steps.
Yes. What's the plan?
What's the plan and how do I achieve that next level of success?
Definitely. So we know with the Braden Real Estate Group, building a legacy through real estate is very important.
Absolutely.
What advice do you have for first-time home buyers or investors, particularly in underserved communities, to start creating generational wealth?
I say get back into the communities.
Yes.
So my first home was in the hood.
I know that's right.
My
Mine
first
too.
my first home was in Cashmere Gardens, and it's important that we're in the community so
Yeah.
we can understand the needs of the community, and also those homes in the hood. Not the super gentrified homes in the hood, but sometimes those homes are what we consider affordable homes.
Definitely.
And so going into a home that does not break your bank,
Yes.
and understanding that it's just the first step to building, and it's not the overall.
It's not the overall.
It's not the overall plan. Understanding the journey
Yes.
and that journey.
That's so important because I bought my first home in City Gas
Okay,
when I was
you know, like,
19,
yes.
and that helped me start. When I sold that home, I was able to purchase a bigger home, which
Yeah.
I was able to sell that home and start my business. So it definitely is like, you don't have to look at it like it's everything. It's just the first step. So I love that.
I have a lot of people that say, I don't want to live in this little bitty house. Well, I don't want to live. I ain't want to live there for long either.
Right.
And now I don't. Okay.
I know that's right. I know
I
that's
don't.
right. So my last question for you, with over a decade of real estate experience and economics background, how do you see market trends impacting Black home ownership in Houston, and what steps should buyers and sellers take to stay ahead?
To be honest, I would love to say everything's going to be great, everything's going to be wonderful, but we have to, my economics background,
Yeah.
we have to look at the economy for what it is. So there are challenges on our supply chain system. There are challenges on the economies of scale, everything that's going on right now.
Yes.
So we have to understand that marginalized communities are the first people that's going to take the brunt and the hit of what's going on in the market.
Yes.
And so what we have to do is be smart. So blacks, minorities are known to be high consumer driven people.
Yeah.
We have to understand that we're going to have to hold back, delayed gratification. We're going to have to understand our finances and what are those steps to be able to, when those market changes happen, we're not going to be the casualties of a down market. We'll be able to take advantage of a down market. So positioning ourselves in our financial health.
I love that so much. I thank you for sitting down and having this
Absolutely,
conversation with us.
Jasmine.
How can people reach you or get more information from you?
You can reach me as Madam Broker on
Yes.
on Instagram, but on Facebook and LinkedIn, you can find me as Jermisha, good old broker realtor, and at BraytonRealEstateGroup.com as the broker and co-CEO. Find me, find my family, find my team of realtors, help us buy, sell, and build legacy. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so I am here with Miss Latoya, and we're really excited to talk to you because I know you are in PR in marketing. I wanted to just ask a few questions about why you wanted to attend today and like what made you come out to this beautiful event about closing the wealth gap.
I think it's so important, especially right now. We need to figure out ways to connect and collaborate together. As things are changing and we don't know what that new landscape looks like. One thing that is going to not change is community, us. So there's always the opportunity to reach across the aisle, talk to one of your constituents, and have a conversation to figure out how do we collaborate outside of everything that's going on so we can figure out how to bridge that gap. And so I love this conversation. It spurs ideas, tells you what's possible, and then you can take that and then incorporate it into your own life how you see fit.
Yeah, so you talked about taking things and incorporating that into how you see fit. What is something that has been shared today that you feel like you would actually apply?
So I think the collaboration part. In my field, in my industry, that is so important. It's how we get a lot of things done. It's how we're able to spread the messaging. And so one of the initiatives that we're working on, we collaborate with a lot of different organizations so that where there are deficiencies, and in case in point, Black Men Buy Houses, we are a resource. And I say we, but the organizers are a resource to bring the people in to get the information, but we don't necessarily provide some of the moving parts that go into the ecosystem as it relates to buying houses. And so those are opportunities for collaboration where we can bring in other partners to talk about credit and lending and all of the other moving parts. And so that's just one example, but the collaboration over competition is always going to be an important conversation.
Absolutely. And what is one of the things that's happening within even your business that you feel you are helping to close this gap in your own business?
So in my business, PR and communication, how information is being disseminated, being a part of that voice, advocating for us to make sure that we have a seat at the table, that is always ever changing. But we as Black people, making sure that we have a seat at the table and we can be a part of navigating and ensuring that we pull and reach back to bring others up. We get to some of these spaces and there may be one of us or there may be two of us. And so how do I open the door so that all of us can make it and all of us can have an opportunity if that's the direction that you want to go in?
Absolutely. So would you say that the one thing you're applying as you leave today is absolutely just collaborating with people in this room, but also people outside of this room as well?
That's it. If I had to say anything, collaboration is going to be the key thing. Take that phrase, run with it, incorporate it into whatever you need to, but collaboration is it.
Awesome. Well, we thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Just let us know how we can get connected with you as well.
So I always keep it very simple. You won't find me as This somewhere else. It's Latoya Hurley across all social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. Feel free to follow me if you are looking to follow the company, Innovative Marketing Group. And so we would love to see you guys follow the events and keep up to date with what we have going on.
Awesome.
All right, and we're back with another interview with Broderick Brown. How you doing today?
Man, I'm great. How you doing?
Pretty good. So what brought you to this event today?
Man, Black EXP Network, man, they have been doing a lot. I
Yes.
connected with a few people and I'm just love what they doing. I never seen nothing like this in such a big brokerage like this. So I'm loving it. I'm loving to be a part of it.
Yes, I love it too. So what is the biggest financial barrier or challenge you face in building wealth? And what solutions or insights have you gained from this event to overcome it?
Man, I would say information, not knowing what to do or how to do it. Not even knowing that it's even possible to do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But once I learned that, put myself in the right rooms around the right people, and then I obtained that information, now I'm on the way to start doing that.
Definitely.
Then another thing was credit. learning about credit and learning how to leverage credit in order to do the things that I need to do to buy properties and things like that.
I think that credit conversation is so important because
Man.
in our communities, we skip that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want to pay cash for everything.
Yes. How do you plan to apply the knowledge and strategies shared today to take actionable steps towards closing the wealth gap in your community?
Collaboration.
Yes.
Collaboration. I think that's something that's missing in our community. I think it's a lot of pride,
Yep.
you know, and I think it's a lot of fear too.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Fear is real.
So my biggest thing is to just, you know, putting myself out there, you know what I'm saying? Not worrying about what happened or what won't happen or how somebody may look at me like, hey, look, this is me, this is what I'm trying to do. You know, how can I help you or be a part of what you got going on too? You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying? So just putting pride to the side and just willing to work with each other.
So you mentioned fear, and I want to just take a second to talk about that because I think that's so real. What are some ways that you overcome fear when it comes to networking, building those connections, building those relationships?
Man, man, a little trick for me is just knowing that other people got fear too.
Right.
You
You ain't
know
the
what
only
I'm saying?
one?
I ain't the only one, you know? So
Sure.
just knowing everybody else and looking at myself as being the person to break the ice.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
for
Just
sure.
stepping up. So after doing that over time, I've gotten better with networking and talking to people and just trying to make myself be of service to other
Yes.
people and not just be looking for how can you help me do what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
know what
you
I'm
lead
saying?
with that value.
Exactly.
Okay, so my last question. What resources, connections, or support do you feel are still missing in the fight for economic empowerment and how we can collectively work to fill these gaps?
Man, still for sure information.
Yeah.
Like still so many people in our community do not have the information, you know, and access to capital.
I was just getting ready to say that. I was going to say, what about the access to
Access
capital?
to capital is top one, top two. You know what I'm saying? Those two things, just access to capital. And if people understand, like if you want to invest in real estate, there's hard money lenders out there. There's different mortgage brokers out there that
Yeah.
can get you access to money without needing tax returns, without needing W-2s, without having to have a 700 credit score. And it goes back to knowledge, information,
Yeah.
and your network. Because I didn't know that either. If I'd have known that, I'd have came straight out of high school trying to
Trying
buy
to do
property.
this.
You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying? So I mean, that's the biggest thing right there, man. Access to capital and information.
Okay, so how can people get access to you and gain more information from you?
Y'all can follow me on Facebook. I think Facebook is the best one for me. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Facebook is more sociable, you know, it's more like personable. So just follow me on Facebook, Broderick Brown Jr. Tap in with me and anything that I can do to help, just let me know. Send me a DM. You might have to DM me 2 times. Don't worry. Hey, I don't be on social media like that, but hey, I'm still here to work.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time to sit with us.
Absolutely.
Hi everyone, we are back and we are with Mr. Evan Charles, and he's one of the attendees here at Closing the Gap. One of the questions I want to ask you is, what is the biggest financial barrier or challenge that you have faced in building wealth, and then what solutions or insights have you gained from the event?
Well, first I want to just say thank you for the opportunity to sit down with you guys today. And thank you, yes, for coming to this event of Closing the Gap. And yes, to that question, one of the challenges that we're facing today, I feel like in the community, is that our folks are, especially in our community, have been very distracted. It's not so much that the information is not out there, it's not that people are not trying to get the information out or sharing it. I think we're very distracted with a lot of things. And when I say things, it could be from political avenues to all the way to entertainment, into sports and etc. When you count the value of the things that we get distracted about and we think are so important in social conversations, at the end of the day, it leaves our bank accounts empty. And sharing that information and trying to make that impact or that difference is what I'm trying to do, even amongst my friends, where, you know, I'm part of several different group communities that I'm part, you know, social groups that I'm with here in the Houston area, just on networking.
Yeah.
But still, when you go to these events, sometimes you're just lost with the ambiance of being in a great room without actually getting some real food to utilize and to make a difference in your own personal life.
Yeah, so speaking of real food, what is something that is being spoken of like in the rooms here at this event that you can see yourself applying and bringing back to your community and the things that you're doing with the initiatives and all the things you're a part of?
Oh, well, you know, for one of the things that I am part of is, especially here in Houston as a realtor, is I'm part of a group of where Black men buy houses, okay? So with that being simply said, it's what does it take for us to do that or get qualified, right? And that burden, that education or that part, that life to achieve that goal, I think it just requires a dedication in being, you know, or lessons being taught in how to be frugal and not look to look a certain way or have the name brand stuff or the name brand vehicle and et cetera, et cetera. I feel like our community gets caught up in a lot of
The distractions.
the you know, things that just don't even matter. And later on, they find themselves with a credit card debt or other things you know, they starting things backwards, like, you know, getting into a family without the family, that kind of thing. And then they put themselves in a harder position to elevate or reposition themselves in society.
Got it. So I feel like even as you're expressing that, it makes me think about how do we close the gap is by lessening distractions. I feel like that's like a major thing.
It's a major thing. One of the things I even did in my young days, you know, you're talking about the difference between reading the books and going without cable. I can't tell you how much people love to complain about their Comcast or any kind of or a bill, but just cut it off, and then you find yourself realigning yourself to different things that could honestly benefit yourself. Benefit you and the whole family.
Yeah, your family and your community.
And the community.
Yeah, so this has been a great conversation. I feel like really being able to understand how we close this gap is by lessening distractions. And I feel like that's one thing we really got from this. So how can people get connected with you, Mr. Evans?
Oh, myself, well, not only am I a great social networker and such, but you can find me on Facebook, Evans Charles. It's easy access. The first name is with an S, story of my life. I'm also on Instagram, but also through my brokerage, which is Brooks and Davis, here, a brokerage that's been in the Houston network community for the last 17 years.
Awesome.
And we just celebrated that. So with that said, yes, I don't know.
That's how you connect.
You could also call me directly, but I don't want to give that number out.
Absolutely understand. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to interview with us today.
Again, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for being here as well.
Thank you.
Hey cultivators, we're back with another interview, and I have Miss Kimberly Spencer with us today. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling fantastic.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you do.
I'm a loan officer here at NRL Mortgage. We're hosting an event. How many people here today? About 167.
Wow.
We've got 167 EXP real estate agents here at our Augusta corporate office near the Galleria. And we're just hosting a Black wealth investment experience for everybody, and I'm having a great time. Bake some cookies.
I know that's right. I know that's right. So tell me, why do you feel like these type of events, these type of seminars, educational platforms are important for real estate?
Number one is networking. It's really, it's putting ourselves in a position where like-minded people learn from like-minded people. We rise by lifting others. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of other cliches that I could come up with. But the reality is being educated by people who are succeeding, which is what the panel at the front of that room is doing. But primarily networking, just knowing you're not alone.
Definitely that you're not alone. So the whole topic or theme for today is about closing the wealth gap.
Absolutely.
So what do you think are some things that we can do as a community to help close the wealth gap in different communities?
Well, I'm a go with my gut girl, and for my African American clients, which I've helped a lot of people of color purchase homes. It's been quite a blessing and quite an honor. But I find out that there's just a lot of, I don't want to, no, it's ignorance. There's just a lot of ignorance, which is kind of in general in real estate.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot of ignorance as to what you actually have to do and how easy it really is
Right.
once somebody gives you the tools. And that's the key, is somebody has to have the patience.
So let's dig a little bit into that about somebody giving you the tools. So what are the tools and resources that's out there for people to connect to educate themselves?
It could be a little bit overwhelming as to how as to how much there actually is. But the first step is to connecting with a real estate professional
Yeah.
who does have some time in the industry, that has done the work, that can come alongside you and sit down and say, okay, here's where you are and here's who I need to connect you with, like a loan officer. Very
Yes.
often someone will come to me, a realtor will send them to me to say, hey, let's get them pre-qualified to purchase. You know, they think their credit might be good or they're not really sure. Well, what ultimately happens is I pull their credit, I look at their income, I look at their debts, and I realize they're not good.
Yeah.
Not yet. But here's how. But that person came to me from a trusted real estate professional.
Yes.
Is how.
Yes.
So, and it's having the tools, it's having the patience as a real estate advocate working alongside the agents to just know that sometimes it's going to take 6 months, 12 months. I closed a deal with a buyer I worked with for 2 years,
Wow.
and that was a great closing.
Was it a great closing?
That was a 65-year-old African-American woman who bought her first home.
Oh, wow. I bet that was a great closing. So speaking of that, as a loan officer, what are some moments that make you really just enjoy doing what you do every day?
Oh, we don't have enough time. And I love a camera, but that grandma was a big one.
Yeah.
That was really a big one. I just closed a loan for a first-time home buyer, 25 years old.
Wow.
Bought a little, $140,000 townhome. And that was the beginning of his investment purchases
Yes.
going into adulthood. And he just got newly engaged, so I got to meet his fiance. But that same week, I closed a $2.5 million first-time homeowner. She was divorced, getting a divorce. So she'd purchased a home with her husband in the past, but this was her very first time coming to the closing table, going through the whole process other than just showing up to sign things. They had the exact same questions. They had the exact same concerns and fears.
Wow.
And I love that.
So my last question for you is just closing the wealth gap in general. A lot of people say real estate is the way that you can close wealth gaps in many communities.
Yes.
So what is your take on that?
As a landowner and a homeowner, I believe in that wholeheartedly. And it's not just my job. I mean, of course, I make a living closing loans.
Yes.
I'm commissioned, just like a realtor. We don't get paid till we're at the closing table.
Yep.
But I can say that I do so many tax searches through HCAD and through different county websites for taxes. And I see what a home sold 5 years ago versus 3 years ago versus today.
Yep.
And the equity gained in them is anywhere from 30 to 40 to 50%. And that's in 5 years, depending on the area.
Wow.
Those are hard numbers to argue with.
Yep.
But I live it. We own a home in Katy, free and clear, and we own a place in the country, 25 acres in the country,
Oh.
free and clear, and we're building our retirement home on that. So I've got a personal stake in it too.
I love that. That sounds so exciting.
It is.
And congratulations to you.
Thank you.
All righty. So how can people connect with you or get more information from you?
Connect with me through NRL Mortgage. My telephone number is 281-798-9299. I'm the mortgage maker baker on Instagram.
Yep.
So you hit me up there.
Thank you. It was a pleasure sitting down with you.
Awesome. It was a pleasure sitting down with you too. Thank you so much.
Hey y'all, it's Jazz and Jay back with another interview, and I'm having the pleasure to sit down with Miss Kendall. Miss Kendall, can you tell us what you do?
Yes, so I am the VP of Industry Relations and Strategic Partnerships for the largest real estate brokerage in the world,
Hey, shout out
eXp
to
Realty. Yeah, and basically what I do is I help manage relationships within the industry, as well as bring in the strategic partnerships that our company wants to relate with actually, to help our agents do more business. So
I
that's
love
what we
that.
do.
I love that. So, how's your experience been being in that position?
It's been great. It's not been quite a year. I have been an entrepreneur most of my career. I'm also an attorney, and I feel like this job activates all of my superpowers.
Yes.
It's got me doing all the things that I actually am really passionate about. That my strengths, like the things I'm really good at. So I get to do marketing, I get to negotiate deals, I get to empower agents, and honestly, I can't imagine doing anything else.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So, I actually heard you say that you're from California.
Yeah, born and raised.
So, how did you get here to Houston?
So actually, I met my husband in law school in Los Angeles, and he and I got married in 2003, and we drove to Tampa, Florida to start our lives there. And this is where I've been for the last 22 years, raising my children. But a part of my job at eXp is traveling to different cities and states, speaking to agents, pouring into the community, participating in different events. And so that is what brought me here by invitation of the Black eXp Network to teach to and speak to rather our community about the things that we can do to close the wealth gap and to build better community.
Definitely. So let's dive right into it. So what are the most common misconceptions about wealth building in the Black and minority communities, and how can we shift the mindset to create lasting financial change?
That's a big question. You know, I would say the first thing is mindset, right? That we do need to not only believe that we can do it, but then take the steps to do it, right? And one of the first steps is education. I mean, we already know this, and it's getting education from the right resources. And how do we get education from the right resources? Well, it's about reaching out. It's being bold. It's being courageous. I think a lot of us are afraid to take that extra step, to do the thing that we know we need to do out of fear. And I tell people all the time, there's no bravery or courage without fear.
Yes.
So it's okay to be afraid. Do it anyway, right?
I love to talk about fear. I just talked about this with someone else I was interviewing, because that's so real. And so what are some things you do to overcome fear? Honestly,
one of the lessons I learned a while back was when I get an invitation to something that makes me uncomfortable, that's when I have to pay attention.
Yes.
And
that's so true.
And when I pay attention, I told myself, okay, if I'm thinking about saying no to something, why?
Yes.
And if it's because I'm uncomfortable, because I'm scared, that's when I say yes.
Yes, I was just getting ready to say that.
And that's how I overcome it.
I love that. So what specific strategies or policies do you believe will have the most immediate impact on closing the racial wealth gap? And how can individuals take action today?
That's another great question, another big question. So for me, I think sometimes the opportunity is in the niche.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean, sometimes we go to the obvious and we think, for example, buying real estate, that is an obvious answer to building wealth and closing the wealth gap. However, where are the niches within that space that we can grow? Number one, rent to own programs. There are programs out there and there are businesses out there that will support people from turning them from renters into homeowners and give them a path and a journey towards that, including credit education, financial education, helping you pick the home you want to live in, rent it first, and then be able to make an educated decision maybe 2 or 3 years down the line to actually own that property, right, at a predetermined purchase price. Like, that's a powerful opportunity. That's a niche within the real estate space. A second niche that I think is really powerful that I would love to talk about more is assumable mortgages.
Yes.
Right now, the biggest barrier to entry for homes right now is affordability, right? And so part of that is attached regards to mortgage rates and how high they are currently, when we have so many sellers sitting on homes right now that they need to sell, but they won't because of interest rates. Because you move out of one home, you've got to buy your next home.
Right.
And you don't want to spend more than what you paid the last time per se, right? So if we can start to leverage assumable mortgages and share those lower interest rates from the last, previous 3 or 4 years, that's going to unlock inventory. Then that gets sellers out of their starter homes into their next phase and allows our first-time home buyers into a new home at a lower interest rate than today's rates.
Listen, this is the point of the video where you rewind, you go get your notebook, you go get your pen, and then you press play. Okay? So I have my last question for you.
Yes.
Many people feel locked out of the wealth building opportunities due to lack of access to capital. What are the most effective ways to leverage the real estate, which you kind of have spoken about this, entrepreneurship and alternative investments to build generational wealth?
I think, I heard one of the other young ladies speak today about something that triggered something for me. Get a group of people together.
Yes.
My dollar plus your dollar, now we have $2. And sometimes you can take those 2 and turn it into 3.
Yep.
By working together. So I would say, excuse me, getting together with others who have similar goals and working together and leveraging multiple resources.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I actually went to a real estate conference and it talked about being creative. So partnering with other people. And so to purchase our studio, I partnered with my dad. I came to him, I'm like, hey, this is a plan, this is a great investment. And we were able to purchase the property and now we're able to do what we're doing now.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm like
no,
crying
it's okay.
now.
We're wrapping it on up. If you can, do you mind telling people how they can reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, you can go to kendallbonner.com and that'll take you to my link tree, which gives you access to my website, email, social media, everything that you need to get in touch. Sorry about that.
No problem. And thank you so much for sharing so much valuable information with our audience.
Absolutely.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hey everyone, I am back with another amazing one of the vendors here at Closing the Wealth Gap. This is Miss Ashley. We are excited to have you here. She is with the Seller's Shield. Can you tell us a little bit more about your business as well as why you guys decided to be a vendor here at this event?
Of course. So basically what we do is we've taken your seller's disclosure forms and we've made them digital and interactive to help your sellers through the process of filling it out. So we've embedded definitions of things, red flag areas of concern, just so that they really slow down and focus and answer as accurately as possible. We also provide sellers with the opportunity to purchase a home sale legal protection plan. And what that does is in the event that the buyer were to come back with a dispute against the seller based on the sale, Seller Shield would hire an attorney to actually represent that seller. So it helps save them money, gives them peace of mind, just in case something happens to go wrong, because you just never know.
You never know. And I think that's one of the things that they are really highlighting with this event. So once you heard about this event, Closing the Wealth Gap, I'm sure even with the explanation of the business, this is a type of business that helps to close that gap of someone being able to not have the legal things in place with their, with their closing and selling process. So when you think about Seller Shield, how do you feel like Seller Shield helps to close that wealth gap?
Well, when you think about it, when you sell your home, you think, I'm done. I sold it.
I got it.
I'm moving on. A year goes by, you're settled in a new home. Some people, it's their nest egg that they've put into something new. And then you get a claim, a demand that comes back from the buyer saying they found a roof leak that they just noticed that they want you to pay $20,000 for the replacements. That can devastate someone. I mean, the attorney fees alone, it can be a $5,000 fee just to speak with an attorney to get a retainer. So to have that taken away because you have a protection plan in place with us can literally save your family.
It becomes a shield.
It's a shield.
It closes the gap.
Yeah. Now, is this going to happen on every sale? Of course not. But when it does, it can be catastrophic. So it's really good to have in place.
Yeah. So how can people find out more about the Seller Shield who may not have made it to this event? How can they get in contact with the Seller Shield?
Yeah, of course. So we have our website, sellersshield.com, 2 S's in the center. And then we're also available through EXP. We are a partner with EXP, so you should see a link in there. We're partnered with Lone Wolf as well, so if you have your Zip Forms account, you can link through there. Dot Loop is another one that we have, and we're also working on integrating with SkySlope, which is coming soon.
Awesome. You guys are very well connected, which is amazing because we need community in doing this type of business. It was a pleasure to be able to talk with you, Miss Ashley, and I'm excited to see what Seller Shield is going to continue to do for the future of sellers.
Yeah, it was so nice. Thank you for having me.
No problem. All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap. We have had an amazing time speaking to some amazing and very skillful professionals here at Closing the Gap. This has been amazing with the Black EXP Network. Me and Jasmine have talked to some incredible people. What are some insights that you had that really, made this evening great?
One of the main things that a lot of the people that we talked about was access to capital and how hard that was, and how trying to figure out how to get access to capital can help close that wealth gap. They also talked about the obvious, just buying real estate, investing in real estate, and things of that nature. But the Black community really is focused on closing the wealth gap, and that just, I loved every bit of those conversations.
Yeah, I love that they talked about collaboration.
Yes.
A lot of people talk about, from the attendees perspective, that we needed to get together, work together, and just remember that we can collaborate. We don't have to compete.
Yeah.
And to limit distractions so that we can actually obtain wealth. So I think this has been a great conversation. I know that I've been impacted by the conversations, and so really excited for many of you guys to see and hopefully get connected with what EXP has going on in that network.
Definitely. And one thing I want to make sure y'all do is watch this 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah.
Rewind, fast forward, whatever you need to do to get the valuable and tangible information that people were giving out, because it's really going to help us close that wealth gap in our community.
Absolutely agree.
All right, y'all. It's been Jasmine J. and Morgan here at the Closing the Wealth Gap, and we are out.